What's up, everybody? This is the Tech Preacher. So it's time to do the battle of the cameras between the Sony 1 Mark II and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, I've already done a camera review between both of these devices already, but this one is going to be a little different. iOS 14.3 came out and it got ProRAW. Now, I've already made a video about ProRAW, and in this video, this was a fan request. Everybody asked me, Easy, can you put the Sony 1 Mark II in RAW using the Professional Pro photography app against the iPhone 12 Pro Max ProRAW, edit them and let us see them. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. So check this out. In this video, I'm going to take a bunch of photos, daytime and nighttime, and I'm going to put it in Adobe Lightroom, and I'm going to edit them close to perfection so y'all guys can see the greatness out of both of these camera apps. Now, on the Sony 1 Mark II, I am going to go into the Professional Pro app, and as you can see, the Professional Pro app, and unfortunately, since the iPhone doesn't have all kinds of pro features like ISO and stuff like that, I am going to put everything on this device on auto as far as ISO, and I'm going to shoot with the 24mm on the Sony 1 Mark II, so I could try to make it as even as possible. So once again, in this video, I'm going to shoot in RAW and ProRAW, and I'm going to edit it in Adobe Lightroom and come close to perfection with both of these devices, and you get to see it. So sit back and relax and clean the camera lens before I go out and shoot, and get your popcorn ready and follow me on this journey. Let's go.
The Chosen.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed the footage that you just saw between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Sony 1 Mark II. So let me give you some commentary, the things that I saw when I shot this video. First, I shot over 60 photographs between both of these devices, completely raw. And what I did was I took it in Adobe Lightroom and I did full editing. And it took a long time to pick the right footage, to get it edited correctly, to showcase the perfection on both of these devices. And what you saw in this video, out of 60 shots, I gave you about 20 shots of the best that I can produce out of both of these devices. Now let me explain some of the pros and cons that I saw in this video. So one of the things that I didn't like with the Sony 1 Mark II is some of the color science that I seen. When I shot in the lakefront in New Orleans, what I found that the Sony 1 Mark II had the ground completely off, the white balance was off, and it was unretrievable in Adobe Lightroom. So I could not fix that. The iPhone definitely had the most accurate colors when it came down to the ground and the sky. Also, I found that the Sony 1 Mark II was very oversaturated in some of the shots. I did tone down the oversaturation, but when I did, it started getting a little grainy. So I had to leave it the way it was. So some of the shots that you saw with the Sony 1 Mark II was not natural. I think it was just a little tap oversaturated. Some of the things that I could not fix in Adobe Lightroom. Now, even though I shot with the 24mm and I shot in auto, I would advise, if you're going to shoot with the Pro mode, the Pro Professional mode on this device, you want to make sure you lock all your settings. To keep it fair in this video, since the iPhone does not have a Pro feature that you can dial down all your white balance and your ISO and stuff like that, your aperture. What I had to do is I made it fair by having both devices on auto mode. But the only way you could shoot RAW on the Sony 1 Mark II is in the Pro Photography app, which I did. Now, I've done nighttime videos with this device, and I've been one of the advocates of not liking the nighttime photography, JPEG photography on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But in RAW, I'm able to utilizing the whole sensor. That means that I'm getting better footage, clear images, and stuff like that. The iPhone was easy to edit in Adobe Lightroom, which was fantastic. So using Adobe Lightroom, you could do it on the phone or you could do it on your computer, whichever one you want to do. When we talk about the nighttime footage on both of these devices, you have to understand one thing. These are smartphones, they got limitations. But overall, I think that the iPhone really took some dark spots, and I took some dark photos, and I was able to retrieve it without getting a lot of artifacting. That's very important. The Sony 1 Mark II, some of the footage was unretrievable. I could not get some of the grain out of the Sony 1 Mark II. So when it comes down to night photography using RAW, I would give the win to the iPhone 12 Pro Max because it was retrievable. I was able to fix some of the things that I could not fix on the Sony 1 Mark II. Now, you be the judge for yourself for looking at this footage. I believe that the Sony 1 Mark II did a great job in the daytime. Besides some of the color science issues that I saw, some of the footage was really good. But at nighttime, I was not impressed at all with the Sony 1 Mark II when it comes down to nighttime photography. Because again, I shot over 60 photos. And by me shooting over 60 photos, and I was only to recover maybe about 5 or 6 nighttime photos because the rest of them was just bad. The Sony 1 Mark II suffers from a few things. It suffers from poor focusing. It suffers from low light situations. Even in the Pro Photography app, it suffers in a whole lot of things. Even when you're shooting RAW, the Sony 1 Mark II has some issues. So y'all guys know that I keep it real 100 when it comes down to these smartphones. I think the Sony 1 Mark II, when it comes down to the daytime, is good. At night, it suffered really bad. And those RAW shots, some of them was unrecoverable. But the only reason why I pulled 20 out of 60 is because the iPhone gave me really good shots on pretty much all 60 shots. The Sony 1 Mark II gave me problems with half of the shots that I took in this video. It was very difficult to do. It took me many hours to try to get the best footage possible out of the Sony 1 Mark II. Don't know why, but that's what I'm bringing to the table to you guys. This is Eric the Tech Preacher from Easy Computer Solutions. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about both of these devices in action in all its glory. See you guys on the next video. Peace.